The time for Christians to stop being killed is right now. Trump is making a move on the terrorism around the world, globally, against Christians. Beyond that, Nancy Pelosi is finally retiring. We can finally sit back, take a sigh of relief. And, of course, we're going to also be going over the demise of New York City currently, and perhaps some good news in the future. There's always silver lining, and we're going to look at that today. See you on the other side. So, for those of you who may not know, and I'm sure many of you do, Nigeria is a place where there's been an incredible amount of terrorism upon Christians. And it's a dangerous place for Christians to live, in fact. These are Nigerians or even Americans, if you're a missionary to Nigeria, for example. These are people who simply believe in God, have chosen to follow him, and because of that, their life is put in danger. Because they choose Jesus, their life is in danger. That is not how it should work. There should be global religious freedom to worship as you would, and obviously we want everyone to come to Jesus. We want you to come to Christ, but at the same time, there still should be that allowance to worship as you deem fit, as you see is correct. And Nigeria does not have that right now. Over the years, this country has faced so much violence. It's incredible. And lots of it aimed at Christians. Since 2009, which, fun fact, is when I was born, 2009. Since 2009, there have been about, it's in the 50,000s, like 52,000 some Christians killed since 2009 in Nigeria. Most of this is by Islam, like lots of Islamist like militants going in, finding Christians, saying like, deny Jesus, they won't, and so you're dead. And this is going to tie in really importantly into something I'm going to talk about later. So keep this in mind that Islam does this. Islam does this. They kill Christians. They kill people who they do not agree with, which is wrong, obviously, and I will point this out in the Bible. Because the Great Commission in Acts 1, you can see it in verse 8, is Jesus telling his disciples to go into all the corners of the world. Not warring, killing, attacking. Lots of people like to use the Crusades as kind of their justification that Christians are violent and have done violent things in the past. Yes, but at the same time, that was the Catholic Church. Not all Christians are Catholics. Now, do Catholics make up a large part of the so-called Christian kind of group? Yes, they do. But also, lots of Catholics really don't care. They just say they're Catholic to kind of have a religion to lean on and have something to respond to when someone says, are you religious, or do you have a religion? They say Catholicism. Now, there are the devoted Catholics. I have met devoted Catholics. I've watched a lot of devoted Catholics. I've seen there are devoted Catholics, but there are also a lot of Catholics that are not. And my point to kind of going on that rabbit hole is that, in fact, Christians do not have a large history of just being totally violent. There are the Salem witch trials that we all know was a huge fail. There's a big mess up, and it hurt the name of Protestants really badly. And then there's obviously the Crusades, which multiple Crusades did not go well. Many ended in total failure and total destruction. So, no, I don't back these things. At the same time, Christians are not going around killing people they disagree with at all. And Islam does this. Why? Because it's part of their kind of code of conduct. And we're going to look at this a lot more in detail in just a little bit. Another report, this is by Open Doors, found that in 2024, Nigeria was the country with the most Christians killed and kidnapped for their faith. So 3,000 in 2024, 3,100 Christians were killed and 2,830 were kidnapped for their faith. Much of this violence is occurring in the Middle Belt region, which is north-central Nigeria. And many of the Fulani herders, so that's a group, kind of like a tribe, are Muslim. And many of the farmers are Christians. So they're like butting heads. You can see how that would not be a good combination, obviously, and lots of death because Christians are being attacked. People don't want to coexist, apparently, with Christians. Apparently, it's a horrible thing to do so. Nigerian officials have argued that this is about land and it's about ethnicity and not exactly religion. But it's clear that it's about religion. Why? Because we see this pattern of Christians being constantly killed or kidnapped for their faith or tortured. This has nothing to do with land bickering. This has nothing to do with division. This has everything to do with religion. It has everything to do with the fact that Christians are hated in Nigeria and they are being killed. They're being mass slaughtered. And nobody was paying attention to it until just a little while ago. And then finally, we have a president who cares about the people being slaughtered. Joe Biden never did a thing about this. Okay? Never did a thing. Totally I just read 2024, 3,100 were killed for their faith and 2,830 were kidnapped. And yet, Joe Biden did nothing about it. 2024 was his last year, by the way, so he had that entire year to do something. He did not. Why? Because we finally have a president that cares about Christianity. And for all his faults, he still does things that are well thought out. And in a way that gives a feeling of safety to Christians. Because he is also slowly coming around to the idea of Christianity. And obviously, I pray for his soul. I pray that he finally does find Jesus, because I know Jesus is ready with open arms to receive any sinner that gives his life to him. And most importantly, I think Charlie Kirk's assassination was great for this, because that kind of woke Trump up to Jesus. And now he realizes how persecuted Christians are, and he's ready to move. How is this working? In 2024, Open Doors did a study. Nigeria was number one for the global list of places where Christians are killed or kidnapped. According to an August 2025 report, for the first 220 days of 2025, around 7,000 Christians were killed. In Nigeria, that's about 32 a day. 32 Christians a day killed. That's incredible, and around 7,800 kidnapped. A statement dated November 3rd, 2025 from Africa Christian Professionals Forum condemned the ongoing and seemingly unrelenting wave of persecution, violence, killing, and abductions and displacement of Christians across various parts of Nigeria, which is good. This needs to be brought to the forefront. People need to see that this is going on. Why? Because if any other group was just being mass slaughtered like this, okay, 7,000 in 1 year, people are going to pay attention. Any other group, any minority, okay, 7,000 Latinos are destroyed. People are going to be like, oh my goodness, how could they do that? 7,000 blacks in America are destroyed. Everyone's going to focus on that. How dare anybody do that? But when 7,000 Christians are killed, it takes forever for people to see this. Forever for people to care about it. Why on earth is that? Why have we not yet played that minority card? We're the minority. Why have we not played that card yet? Okay, because the minorities are winning all over America. Why are Christians not meeting with immediate success? Okay, why is this happening? That's something you need to ponder, and it's something you need to think about. Because it's truly incredible that all these minorities get all this special attention just for being minorities, and Christians are being slaughtered in Africa, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. The corrupt American government was sending millions, okay, for sex education, for transgender operations, for lesbian dance classes in Africa, okay, millions to these things. Right, Doge found this, and recently it was also right again during this government shutdown. Okay, so much money going to useless things. Where's the money to go to Christians that are being destroyed? Right, where's the money to keep those people safe? Where are the soldiers to keep these people safe? Where is it? Why are we dormant to this? Wake up. That is since 2009. It's been like 52,000 Christians in Nigeria have been killed. Why is no one caring? Why? Just why? I think it's a very important question to ask yourself. That's incredible. Nigeria's government, through its foreign affairs minister Yusuf Tagar, has denied systemic religious persecution, stating that the claims of state-backed persecution are unfounded and that Nigeria remains a pluralistic secular democracy. Which is wild because 52,000 Christians is a lot of people. 7,000 in just 2025 is a lot of people. And to say that about your country is ridiculous. You are not just filled with religious freedom. And the government is finally trying to get away from, we're not associated with the radical Islamists killing these Christians. We're not associated. But they've done nothing. They've done zero, actually. People have tried to tell me that the Nigerian government, they've been trying so hard. No, they haven't. They really have not. You cannot prove that to me. They've never done anything. The country's chief of defense staff has likewise rejected the claims of Christian genocide, stating the core challenge is terrorism, not the targeting of Christians. No, the problem is the targeting of Christians, actually. That is the main problem. You can't just say that. That is the big issue. You are targeting Christians, okay? They are being targeted and being slaughtered. Meanwhile, the United States, through public statement, has flagged Nigeria over religious freedom concerns and threatened sanctions or reduced aid if protections for Christians are not improved. I love this. This is good. This is good. We'll touch more on that in a second, because in May of 2025, at least 42 people were killed in a series of attacks across 4 communities in Benue State, north-central Nigeria, attributed to herders. Several victims were Christian farmers, and a Catholic priest was severely injured. In November 2025, there was a heightened diplomatic political tension because the former U.S. President Donald Trump, now the current president, announced that Nigeria could face cuts in U.S. aid and even possible military action if these violent attacks on Christians persisted. Let me show you guys a clip in case you have not seen it. For those who have not seen it, let me show you all a clip of what Trump said about this. It is awesome. I'm so happy about this. Let's take a look.
Humanity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
Oh my goodness, that gives me chills, dude. That gives me chills. And let me tell you why, because nobody's done this for Christians. Nobody cares that Christians are being mass slaughtered. And to see the President of the United States, especially there at the end, he emphasized twice, it is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He is fully willing and able to set military boots down in Nigeria to stop this. And for all of you who feel bad for the Nigerians, oh, Trump is just warmonger, just wants to kill people. Why is he doing this? Just wants to slaughter people. He became president just to use the power of the military. That's what he's here for. Well, if you take into account amount of people that have been killed, it's not even a competition, really. It's insane, actually, how many people have been killed. So, no, this is not absurd. That's not overboard. That's not wild. Okay? That is just good. Just good. There are 7,000 people killed this year. In a different place that were not Christians. We'd probably be paying a lot more attention to it. But since it's Christians, nobody really talks about it. But now it's finally being talked about. This is so good. You know what else is good? The one and the only Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, is finally retiring from her political career. This is amazing. Okay? It's a miracle. We thought she would never go. Okay? She just keeps going. Like, can I just say, that's incredible, actually. How she just keeps going and she's finally slowing down, gonna be done for a little bit. This is great stuff. She quit the government, give us all exactly what we need, a break from her woke, radical beliefs. It's great to see Mike Johnson be the Speaker of the House, okay? It is great to have a Christian, a conservative, really someone that cares. It's just good to have someone that cares. Not someone who rips up the State of the Union address when someone they don't agree with is speaking. Also, what happened, by the way, like, I can't believe we let that happen, actually, in America. That's insane. Where's order, actually? That's our government. That's our government, y'all. Like, where's the order in our government? Who am I? She loved exaggerating things and make them seem worse than they actually were. She was a great actress. That's always what she did, always. She was a theater kid, basically thrown into politics. Just like, she thought this was a movie, so she's got to act well. Did not win any awards at all for her acting. And really, she just worried me when she talked. So, I guess she did have that dramatic impact, I will say. She could not leave, of course, without dropping some bitterness at Trump, obviously. I mean, she hates Trump. She did this by way of a show on CNN. It's called The Story Is. The interviewer was obviously incredibly biased. It's CNN, super leftist, so obviously going to be super biased, all for Nancy Pelosi. Here's what some of the video looked like. Let's show y'all exactly what the interviewer was like.
So obviously, one of the big things about Proposition 50 is for control of the House, and we're seeing right now what a Republican House looks like. We're seeing the shutdown. You've been in there, you've negotiated, you've found off-ramps for men who have strong egos. So what's the off-ramp for this shutdown? What's a deal that allows President Trump to save face, that allows Democrats to get what they want, and gets, most importantly, the government back open?
Well, I would say that the off-ramp has to be meeting the needs of the American people.
So, the off-ramp has to be meeting the needs of the American people. While we keep the government shut down. Yes. Yes, that is what we must do. The American people, the people we so ardently love, while we let 10 million illegal immigrants walk across our borders, mess with our kids, sell drugs, and destroy the economy. I love the American people. Okay, how does nobody see through this? Well, they do. Not everyone, obviously, but the people on her side will never see through this. They'll never think that she has gone overboard. They'll never think it is too much. She is basically the perfect paragon of a creep, shall we say. But, like, you can see how biased that is. He's really like, oh, the Republicans' government, oh, the Republicans' house, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Y'all are keeping it shut down. Thank you very much. Y'all are shutting the government down, and y'all are not opening it. Okay, Chuck Schumer is the reason this thing is closed. And let me promise you, Nancy Pelosi is 1,000% on his side. Okay, and she totally wants this $1.5 trillion to go blow on illegal immigrants. That is what she's for. That is why we must keep the government shut down and keep the American people hostage, because we want healthcare benefits for illegals. And beyond all that, let us remember that we also want Obamacare to be super extended, because it works so well. We've seen the economy just do amazing under Obamacare. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay, so, yeah, big issue. I mean, this is literally the Schumer shutdown. The fact that it could be blamed on Republicans, actually, who want healthcare for real Americans, real Americans. I know that word is getting more and more foreign as the time goes on. But she does not want healthcare for real Americans. Sometimes I can't even believe what I'm seeing. Like, the poor Babylon Bee is going to run out of stuff to make satire about, because like, their satire on cultural appropriation, it's all coming real. Their satire on the woke left is all coming real. All of the satire they do is becoming the real deal. It's like, what's going on? So, scary stuff, obviously. But, of course, this meme's amazing memes for the future. We can always make some great memes. Of course, Nancy didn't stop there. She had to call him the worst thing on the face of the earth.
How can I say this? It'll sound like I'm awful about Trump because he's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do. Because he's the president of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States.
Well, it is not Kim Jong-un. It is not Vladimir Putin. It is not the Ayatollahs. It's not the terrorist regimes. It's not Hamas. It's not. It's not Maduro and Venezuela. None of these people. It is Donald Trump. I hate it when capitalists are the president of the United States. I want us to all be like New York City. With our... Wow, I'm getting animated here. I want us to be like New York City with our great communist leaders that are going to wreck the stinking economy. Okay? He is not the worst thing on the face of the earth. I don't even care where you stand. Whatever aisle you're on. It's okay. She's entitled to have her opinion on these things since she will be relieved of her soon enough. But seriously, he's not the worst thing on the face of the earth. Inflation's down since he's been in, so it was 9% during Biden administration. It's like 6% lower now. So, again, she's not really thinking. It's not, it's not like a great disease. Cancer is not the worst thing on the face of the earth. No, it's Donald Trump. He is the cancer. He is the cancer. Whatever. I feel like the communism kind of coming into America might be the cancer, but whatever you say, Miss Nancy, whatever you say. Speaking of Chuck Schumer and the shutdown, we're on day 38. It took 14 failed votes on the legislation for Schumer to finally realize we need to try something else. How very wise of him to realize this. So they have proposed a bill. The House is continuing to disagree on what should be done, but a one-year extension of the Obamacare tax credits was just suggested, and we are yet to see what the Republicans are going to do about this. If this does not pass, then we will go to a 15th vote on the Republicans' bill on Saturday over the minibus. Let's just drag this out as humanly possible, as long as humanly possible, as we can. Shall we? Shall we? The Democrats refuse to accept something good for Americans. I mean, they couldn't stand it when Trump came in and helped out the economy, like stabilizing inflation. So they obviously don't want anything too good. They can't stand it when the Republicans want to pass bills that bring Americans first and not illegals in the U.S. They can't stand it because for them, it's just basically a money grab. Schumer has held the U.S. hostage long enough. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You should see the corruption and how these people have put their interests in front of you, put their interests in front of your family, your friends, your community. They just have. They have put their political gains in front of what you need. They ran for office in your country. So these are the people you elected. Now the issue is you elected them because they are supposed to do the job that you cannot do, but kind of as an extension of the people. What the people's will is, that will be done. And that is not what's going on here at all. I want the government open because it's going to help a lot of people, like the 700-some-thousand that are furloughed right now because of this. It will help them a whole lot if we can just open up the government. It would be amazing. But the government is still shut down. Why is that? Because we can't just agree on the simplest things. We just can't agree. I decided to have a little bit of a different kind of news segment kind of thingy because I wanted to respond to another comment, right? This is kind of fun. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm already getting haters, which is great because it means I'm reaching this side of the aisle. I'm not just being heard, by people I agree with, but by disagreeers as well. And I want to kind of take a look at a comment made on my stance of Israel not being the ultimate enemy and obstacle in the U.S. Basically, I said that because I was talking about Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes thinks that the greatest impediment kind of to Americans are the Zionist Jews. I said I don't agree. I think it is the illegal immigrants that are, sucking our funds, that are taking over our free things and kicking Americans out of their homes to take them or apartments. It is those people that I think are the worst impediment. Not that they need to be killed. They just need to be sent back to their country where they belong, because they're committing crime by being in the U.S. without citizenship. So, basically, this person comments, "What a shame. I don't know why YouTube suggested me your contents, but it is so disheartening and see such racism and xenophobia from a young man like yourself. So let's just stop there and break this down. Because here's the thing, this is what the left does so much. They don't like what you said. And since they don't really have a great reason for it, they'll just call you names. And I'm sitting here, not even offended. How dare you call me something I am not? He's wasting his time. I know, obviously I want to grow up, I want to have a bigger channel, but I only have 96 subscribers right now. At least wait till I'm farther down the road. Maybe you can, more people see your comment, and they'll be like, oh yes, he has taught this young man well. And I'm totally open to learning, by the way. That's why I'm doing this. It's because I literally can learn so much from doing it. And I'm totally open to being wrong because I'm very young. I have so much to learn. But at the same time, if I see something I disagree with, if I have beliefs, I will state my beliefs. That is why I am here. It is to state my beliefs. And you don't have to watch my content. You do not have to listen to me if you do not agree with me. No one is forcing you. But whatever. I'm not racist by saying illegals should not be in America. That is not racism. By saying terrorists should not be in America, that is not racist. And I'm not xenophobic for crying. I just gotta wonder how, when someone calls a Republican a fascist or even a liberal that's not radical, or anyone who's not fascist but are called fascist by these woke haters, seriously, do you even know what fascism is? Do you even know? Because I don't think you do. Anyhow. Next, this person says, equating an entire religion to terrorism and labeling whole groups of people on unfactual statistics. Then he puts in parentheses, citizens commit more crimes than illegal immigrants, close parentheses, as the worst is unfathomable for someone who can take 10 minutes to actually look facts up. Fun fact, let me tell you something. If I have 35 apples that I picked 5 days ago, and 12 apples I picked today, there's going to be more apples going bad in the 5-day one than in the one I picked today. Another interesting thing. If I pick 35 apples 5 days ago and I pick 12 apples 5 days ago, and I bring the 35 and the 12, there will be more apples statistically going bad in the 35 than in the 12. Why is that? There are more apples in that one pile. Where there's more of something, there's going to be more of another factor. And where there are more people, there will be more crime, statistically, around the world. Why is that? Now, right now, America is more legal citizens than illegals. I don't know how much longer that's going to last with the way people are. But for now, what does that mean? We have the ghetto community. We have these type of people, whether you're white or black, whatever, just the ghetto community in of itself. There's big cities. The thing is, since there are more American citizens than illegal immigrants, of course there will be more crime in the group of American citizens, because there are statistically more American citizens. Where there's more of something, there'll be more of another factor. That's what I'm saying. It is not because when 10 million illegal immigrants came into America, half, if not more, were committing other crimes while being here. So they didn't just commit the crime of coming into our country illegally, so breaking into our country. They just committed other crimes while they were here. Okay, so this is the big issue. That is not a valid argument or fact because you have taken something that is like so obvious. Of course there is. There's more of them. And then tried to twist it to pull everything your way. It's not possible. That is not possible. It's not a valid argument. If you had shown a statistic where, okay, I have 30 American citizens, so out of every 30 American citizens and out of every 30 illegal immigrants, there are this much crime here, this much, okay, but that's not even what you did. And after checking up on the stats, there are a lot of criminal illegal aliens. That's why we had so many deported, and they went straight to jail in El Salvador because they're criminals. Some of the worst. They're in Nicaragua, MS-13. These are horrible people. Okay? Next up. Here's another funny thing. He literally says, I hope you find God, because even me as a non-believer know that this mindset does not reflect the values Christ taught. If you're not a believer, please don't dictate to me what God says and didn't. Please, just out of respect. I am a Christian. I was saved when I was 3 years old. I've lived in church. I have a great family that is always in the Bible. I'm always learning. I know exactly what God said. And he even pulls a verse on here, Matthew 7, 1-2, where it talks about judging not, lest ye be judged. And here's the thing. If I see someone walk out in all rainbow clothing, it's a guy. All rainbow clothing, has a beard, has long blue hair, long painted nails, earrings, lipstick, chewing gum. It is safe to assume that person is gay. Safe to assume that. Now, I did not judge. I made a safe assumption based on how that person was acting. So there's a big difference. I was not judging. When I say illegal immigrants commit lots of crimes, I'm not even wrong because coming into our country illegally is wrong. So I'm not wrong there. I'm right. Because if you look at it statistically, there are a massive chunk of illegal immigrants coming in actually do end up committing a crime. Statistically. And so this is the thing. You can't use the Bible on someone when you yourself are not a follower of Jesus. He said, I hope you find God. Thank you. I've accepted not to be arrogant. Like, literally, I did nothing to deserve it. He died on the cross for me, and I just asked him into my heart to save me. And I hope you, good sir, wherever you are, whoever you are, I hope you make the same decision one day to accept Jesus into your heart. It'll be the best thing you ever do. It'll be the best thing you ever do. And I'll keep you in my prayers. I don't know where you are or what you're up to, but I will keep you in my prayers because I know that Jesus loves you so much that he died on the cross to save you. And there's nothing that would make him more happy than you accepting him as your savior. The final thing I do want to talk about here, which I think is incredibly important that we get to it, is of course New York and kind of the situation that city is going into and kind of what are the dynamics here, because you now have a communist, a socialist leader in position. And what is the problem with that? What is wrong with that being the case? Well, America only got to where it is through capitalism. It only got there. And why? Because capitalism is a system where you can have the rich who will give jobs to the lower class, and they'll go in and say, for example, I'm the owner of Walmart, and since I own Walmart, I can give jobs to people, and the better jobs those people do, I can see that, and I can slowly progress them through my system, basically. And so they can get better jobs while I'm doing well. So while I'm doing well, they're also succeeding. That's the point of capitalism. That's why America is where it is. You look at other communist countries, that is why Venezuela is wrecked. That is why Cuba has been wrecked. Yeah, when you look at these places, they are wrecked because of communism, communistic ideals, free stuff. And free stuff sounds great, and that's what Mamdani ran on, was free stuff. That is what he wanted. And younger people see that, and they think, free stuff, this is great. And they immediately go after it. And the problem with that is that it's not all what it is made out to be. So everything sounds free, right? You just say the word free a lot. It does not make it free. there is still someone who must pay, someone who must produce those free things. And the biggest issue is when Mamdani goes in and he tells everyone, I'm going to give you all this free stuff, free buses, free groceries. He's already stepping back from it. He's like, okay, I know this is not possible. But literally, free buses, what's that going to do? If you go to an amusement park that they do not call for a fee, so you can go for free to an amusement park, you're just going to keep going. You're never going to leave. Why? Because no one is able to enforce that. It's the same with a free bus, for example. Homeless people will go onto the free bus and they will lounge around in that free bus, and no one can tell them to go because no one, there is no money you spend. When you go on a bus that you must spend money on, you pay for this ticket from here to here. You can't just stay on the bus and go. You've paid for your fee. So they have the right to tell you when to get off. And you have the right to be on during your time. And that's the problem with the free bus, is that no one has the right to tell you to get off. You just stay on. And that's a big issue. Another big issue is that the people who voted in Mamdani are not really New Yorkers. There's the stat that shows that people that have been in New York for less than 5 years, 85% or so of them voted for Mamdani. That is a huge statistic. That means New Yorkers are not making New York City's decisions. It is people who are new to New York, and it's young people, and it's people who have totally different beliefs and totally different values than Americans, and that's a big issue. New York's decisions must be made by New Yorkers. Mamdani will wreck New York, and hopefully a lesson will be learned through this, that communism is not the ultimate solution to whatever they do, to whatever they think is the problem, whatever is the problem of the working class. Socialism is not the resolution to it, and it never will be, and it won't work this time. It's never worked. And just look at North Korea. Okay, that is the prime example of communism. Does not work, never will work. It's going to wreck. And I hope for the good of the New Yorkers that New York City does not wreck. And remember, there's a governor election coming up for the state of New York, so hopefully better decisions are made in that election. Thank you all so much for watching. It is great to have you all on. We're almost at 100 subs. Hopefully we can reach that before the end of the year and maybe just get over the brink a little bit more. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you all in the next one. God bless.